what's up? How we doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. What's up? Let's see how we're looking here. We live. We are live. Hopefully I don't have any problems with the chat this time. How you guys doing today? Give me a second, get set up here. Oh, come on. There we go. Perfect. See if we can move her over a bit here. Okay, we're happy. What's up, y'all? Andy Krueger here, live dog training, Q&A. You guys ask the questions. Obviously, I'm answering them. We'll give people a little bit of time to jump into the chat here, start getting some questions going. What's up, Rachel? Number one. I like that. I want to start off today while we wait and let some questions come in. How many of you guys use back pressure in your training? Maybe some people are going, yep, absolutely. And then others may be going, what the heck are you talking about? Well, I wanted to bring this up because over on my Patreon, patreon.com/Andy Krueger, one of my OG Patreon members, Julie, shout out to Julie. I posted a video on there recently of me training my new puppy. He's probably about 13 weeks old now, Boykin Spaniel Clark. If you haven't seen the series I'm making about him, do you hate dog training? You got to check those out. But anyway, I posted a video of him doing a little bit of harness work. Specifically, how I like to introduce the harness to my puppy. Spoiler alert, it's not put it on him and take him for a walk. Anyhow, Julie comments and asks, okay, Andy, for a working dog, for a sport dog, for a protection dog, I totally get the harness work. That's what I mean by back pressure, literally holding the dog back. I get it for that, but what good is this for a pet dog? And I told Julie I could answer that at the beginning of this Q&A. Basically, here's what I'm doing in the video. I put the harness on the puppy. I hold the puppy, the harness with my hand, and then with my other hand, I'm feeding the puppy. And I bring the food away from his nose a couple inches, and he kind of pulls towards it, and I let him go get it. And I build this up really quickly over a minute or two to where I have him on there, and he's just dragging and like a sled dog, going in on that harness and getting the food. Of course, he's a puppy, so it's boop, boop, boop. But he's working hard. So the first answer, Julie, is it necessary for a pet dog? No, probably not. You can get away with having a great pet dog and training them and never doing any back pressure ever. It's more of a want than a need. But here's what it does. Let me give you a quick example because I want to shout out another Patreon member, Greg. Greg, if you're watching, member of the Patreon. Greg just started training a 1-year-old female German Shepherd who has just been a kennel dog. He's pulling her out. He's working with her now. And he does want to get a brevet and French ring. So I know not a total pet dog, Julie, but I'm going to bring it back around for us. So he has this nice female German Shepherd. He wants to play with her. What's the first thing we do? Flirt pole. Oh yeah, baby. If you don't know what a flirt pole is, it's like a fishing pole for a dog. And we play with that flirt pole. And we get the dog, just loving that game more than anything. He's done that. Great. What's the next step? For me, back pressure. We're going to make this dog love that game of chase and catch. Loose. When we have that love and understanding for the game, I'm going to put a little back pressure on it. I'm going to restrain her a little bit. I'm going to frustrate her a little bit. Why, Julie? Because it makes the reward harder to get. It's a little harder to get. And what things in life are valuable? Things that are hard to get. So by using back pressure when you're training your dog, whether they're working for food or a toy, you're making that reward a little bit harder to get, which in theory for most dogs makes them want it more. Dogs chase squirrels their whole lives and they never catch one, but they keep chasing them. They're hard to get. They're valuable. It's hard for you to compete with that. When we restrain the dog on a harness, like I'm describing here, we are channeling focus, determination, commitment, both physically and mentally, on this thing that they really want that's kind of tough for them to get. Not so hard to get that they give up, but tough enough to where they got to kick it into a little bit extra gear. And what are we doing by doing all this? We're building drive. So why would you train a pet dog on the harness the way I'm training Clark on the harness? Build drive, build focus, determination, commitment, make my reward more valuable, and it's a want, not a need. I want it. When I start formally playing tug with my puppy, actually working on biting mechanics, a good grip, a good strike, good technique, turning his head, back pressure is crucial there. Again, you don't need it. You could train your dog, but you definitely want it. Training your dog to be really good on back pressure, it is putting like the best multi-tool in your toolbox. You want that tool. Maybe you don't need it, but you definitely want it. And so I have a new video on my puppy coming out in a couple of days here on YouTube, free. Free on Patreon as well, but no ads. And you're going to see how I'm using the harness with him. That's even how I would start it with an older dog that has never been on a harness before. But it takes almost no time at all to do these harness exercises. They're easy. They're fun. Do you need to do it? Well, I just like doing cool stuff with my puppy. I like doing every little thing that I can. I'm teaching him how to yield to a leash and collar, and then I'm teaching him how to pull on the harness because I want both. Even take your typical pet dog out there, Border Collie, Lab, Golden Retriever, German Shepherd, Doodle, name it. They have so much energy. They have so much energy. We walk them for an hour or two a day. We walk them 5 miles a day. I play chuck it with the dog 20 minutes straight, 3 times a day. Dog has a ton of energy. Dog needs to go. Back pressure, anyone? That's like training your dog with a weighted vest. You have back pressure exercises on your harness. You're going to physically exhaust your dog twice as fast, if not 3 or 4 times as fast. And you're kicking in that mental workout as well, because you just throw a ball, boom, they go, they chase it, oh, they bring it back. Hey, I love it. You make them drag into that ball, halfway to that ball, whatever, and they're commitment, determination, grit. Oh, it's hard to get this one. I got to work a little bit harder. So that's my answer there, but I wanted to give a shout out to a couple members of the Patreon crew because I thought those two, those two were kind of related. Let's see what we got with questions here. What's up? There's Ashley. Hey, from Virginia. Andy, can you tell us about your process for choosing Clark? What made you choose that particular breeder and that particular pup? That's a that's a great question. Actually, there's probably not as much to this as you might think. Luckily, my wife did most of the work. Actually, I mean that's just the honest to God truth. Look, we had our Boykin Spaniel for 16 years. He came from a total crappy backyard breeder. We didn't go out and buy him. We just got him, but blah blah blah. Anyways, but over the course of the last like many years, even when our Foxy was still alive, we knew it. We knew it was getting there. So she had been researching and just looking at different Boykin breeders just out of curiosity for quite some time. Um, Instagram is a great place to go. I mean, just because someone doesn't have it, it doesn't mean that they're not good or anything. I totally understand not wanting to mess with any social media, but they had a great Instagram. They showed a lot of videos and content of their puppies, of the process. My wife, Ashley, coincidentally, just got to know this breeder through commenting and just talking to her. And, they're pretty similar in age and, they got along pretty well. But we looked at a bunch of them, but that one, just from her communications with her and following what she does on social media, you could kind of just tell that the quality is there. Um, I didn't need to pick him. I didn't need to test him. We're like, can we get the pick male? I mean, you clearly know what you're doing with these dogs. You're breeding them. You should know more about them than us in theory. We want a pick male. And look, it's a pet dog. So even if he's not 10 out of 10 on everything, as long as it's workable, like it's totally fine. It's nothing like picking a dog you want to be on the podium in French ring. So we just said, hey, from what we've seen over the past few years, we like what we see here. Give us one. Let us try it out. The absolute worst case scenario would be after a couple weeks. And I'd be like, this puppy is a horrific nerve bag mutant disaster. We're going to go ahead and send him back. It would have to be so bad, though. So I guess the thing there is social media, while it has its good and bad sides, it does really help kind of show who you are as a breeder, gives us kind of the whole vibe that like just a website wouldn't necessarily get. Websites built, it's all professional, it's da da da, it's been up for years. Da, da. That social media, it's like, let's see what you're doing every day. Let's see what you're doing every week with the dogs. Let's follow you for a little bit. Let's see how many litters you breed. If it's like 20 a year, not good. Maybe even if it's like 12 a year, not good. So we're keeping an eye on that stuff. And those kind of videos, they just show you the puppy sitting there. But I can gain a lot from just that. That's how we got him. I've been watching a lot of your decoy videos on YouTube lately and find it quite interesting, but I'm only 15. Is there a minimum age to start? That's a good one. No, I don't think there's a minimum age to start. I would imagine you'd have to be 18 to certify as a decoy. Um, I certified, I probably certified in PSA when I was like 20. And then French ring when I was maybe 22 or 23. So 6 months ago. You could start now, certification, I don't know, you'd have to check, but I'd imagine 18. What you really need as a decoy starting out, you need one dog. A lot would be great. You need one dog you can practice on. All the dog needs to do is be able to bite a leg and hold on, even if they're not on the suit. You could practice so much. So if you have access to a dog or two, that's great. And you need supervision. You definitely need someone there walking you through, okay, you're going to catch this dog. This is how you're going to catch the dog. You know, you don't want to just wing it on your own, but you need someone telling you what to do, and you need at least one halfway capable dog. I'll tell you what though, there's a lot of decoy work you can practice without a dog. You look a little crazy doing it, but I am crazy, so I don't mind looking crazy. There's a lot of work you can do without the dog when it comes to stick work, when it comes to working on presence, when it comes to differentiating the pressure levels that are from level to level. You can work on your brevet stick work. You can work on your level 3 stick work and everything in between. So then that way, when you do get in front of a dog, you're not like, okay, what do I do with the stick again? The dog's biting me. Now he's turning me this way. Now he let go. What do I do? So you should practice a bunch without the dog. I'll take a leash and tie it, like secure it around my knee, and then secure that to a fence, make it go tight, and I pretend like that's the dog's body, and you can use the stick to kind of skip it off the leash and practice your stick hits, practice your brevet, whoa, boom, to level 3. That's how I like to start. Because look, if you're training a decoy, excuse me, the way I train a decoy is I want them to know what to do when the dog is on the bite before they really know what to do before the dog's on the bite. Catching the dog. Because once the dog's on you, you got to just click into, I'm going to work the dog. And that's got to kind of be muscle memory. When you have the muscle memory of exactly what to do when the dog's biting you, now we can work on our sends, our pivots, our catches, our esquives. So you're not having to think about entry, catching, now stick. It's a lot to think about. First live with Andy that I've been able to catch. Looking forward to it. Welcome to the show. What's up? Let's see here. That is an unusual direction to start with dog training. Oh, so this question is referring to the decoy. Actually, it might seem like getting in a suit and decoying is an odd way to start your dog training journey, but that's exactly how I started my dog training journey. I was in a suit for a long time before I even touched a dog one-on-one training wise, like for real, like professionally supervised and system and all that stuff. Getting in a suit, if you're able-bodied, especially for a 15-year-old guy, getting in a suit is one of the best ways to get into the working dog world. That's just going to give you this perspective on dogs training and behavior that you can't really get through looking through another lens. A decoy is the ultimate toy for a dog. It's the ultimate reward. Petting. Got that? Today, Junior, petting, food, ball, tug, leg sleeve, arm sleeve, suit. Generally speaking, for the average working dog, that's their reward. That's the value. Decoy's highest value. What could Freddie get, my Malinois, that would be better than a decoy? Nothing. If a deer runs that way and a decoy runs that way, he'd probably go into the decoy. At least he knows he can catch that and lay into him. So you're putting yourself in a suit that is the dog's ultimate reward. Only you have that point of view. You're seeing the dog come in. You're looking at an intense dog. You're looking at a dog that knows what he's doing. You're reading the dog. You're saying, hey, the dog struggles doing this. Hey, the dog struggles. It's just such a unique point of view. And sticking with that and actually taking it pretty far, that's going to give you the ability to read dogs and train dog that the average person that just isn't going to have. So I love the suit stuff. Even if, if you're older, have an injury or something like that, don't get in the suit. But anyone that has a dog that bites, you gotta experience that at least a couple times. You gotta know what you're training. You gotta know what you're doing there. Andy needs a microphone. Is the audio messed up? Why does everyone keep saying that? Okay, is that in reference to on the last live, someone was like, hey, the audio's bad, and I'm like freaking out, and everyone's like, the audio's fine. I'm like, are you messing with me? My worst nightmare is bad audio. You messing with me, Rachel? Okay, we got one from France. What's up? Crashing the live, catching the live, just made my weekend. Let's go. I hope you're training. I'm training all weekend. Yesterday, today after this, and then on Sunday. We working over here, baby. If a dog like a Malinois comes in for training and they are aggressive towards you, how do you go about training it? Nice question. Yeah, that totally sucks. I mean, if you could ask me, Andy, you want a dog to come in and he's aggressive towards you, or he's totally cool? I'm picking totally cool 10 times out of 10. Come on. If you're a general contractor, you go, hey, this job's really easy. This job's a nightmare. They both pay the same. Which one do you want? I'm just kidding. Look, that's a big challenge. I'm already going to know that before the dog comes in. I have a series on my Patreon. Not that you have to buy it, but there's a series on my Patreon I'll tell you about really quick. Got a Malinois that came in, 9 months old, male. He was nasty. He was nasty. Owners drop him off. Little sketchy at the drop off, nothing crazy, but I was just like, yeah, your vibe is all, I don't trust you. So take the leash, go, put him in a crate. I think he fought to hell and back about getting in the crate, but I put him in the crate, closed the crate, went about my business. Shortly thereafter, returned to his crate to get him out, and it's just punching the crate door, snapping, foaming at the mouth, crazy, defensive, nervous, sketchy aggression. Here's what I do. Let me say something first. If you have a catch pole, that's probably the best way to do it, like the dog catchers have. You open that crate door, you stick it in, you grab the dog, you bring them out. Now, even if they try to attack you, they can't, they're on a pole. So I don't have one of those. That's ideal. Don't have one. Bite suit goes on, baby. Bite suit going on. Bite suit going on. Bite suit goes on. This is all on video on my Patreon. I take the crate that the dog's in and I flip it on its rear end. So now the crate is straight up and down, open up my door like an escape hatch from a tunnel. And I do it, you'll see in the video, I do it very gently, very gradually, so the dog's in the crate and doesn't just get taught. It's enough room for him to sit there. I open my door, I have the suit on. If he's trying to come out, I close the door on him. I open it up. I take my arm, my forearm, which is in a bite suit, and I shove it in his face. And I go, if you want to bite me, Here's your chance. Do it up. I'm here to train you. We're going to become buddies. You want to attack me right now? Go ahead. I have a suit on. Let's do it. Nothing. Just, whoa, little panic, whoa, whoa, and then turning his head. And I bump him in the head, and he's just shut down. I put a slip lead on him. Bring my crate back down. Pull him out of the crate. Once he's out of the crate, he's fine. Once he's out of the crate, he's totally fine. I did that 2 or 3 times. After that, I could get him out of the crate perfectly. So would you say, hey, is that like true aggression? No, that's not an example of like true aggression. That's fear aggression. If you have true aggression on a human, why am I even taking the dog for a board and train? I mean, what are we doing here? I'll probably do that 1% of the time, depending on the circumstance. But if a dog comes in for a board and train, they're like, hey, I'm going to bite you. I say, you came to the right place, Jack. You got the decoy of decoys on your hands right here. Not to pat myself on the back. Let's do it. This is what I do. I work dogs in the suit. I've seen everything. If you want to bite me, let's do it. And they bite, and they bite, and they're panicked. And they're biting, and they're panicked. And the dog's going, wow, that fear aggression is literally doing nothing to this guy. You can bite me. Dude, it's your first hour here. You want to bite me, you can bite me. Like, we will work this out. Go ahead. There you go. How are we good? Or couple more? Okay. You ready now? So for me, having a bite suit is crucial, not just to protect myself, but so now I can approach the dog with confidence. When I'm in a suit, I have zero fear of getting bit. And it just so happens I have 17 years of experience working in a bite suit, from dogs that don't know what they're doing to the highest level dogs in the world. So when I'm in a suit, I'm pretty good. So I can bring that confidence and presence to the dog, know the dog can't hurt me, and then in theory, influence the dog's behavior, maybe negative punishment, if you want to break it down that way. He goes, this doesn't do anything. This doesn't keep me safe. This doesn't keep this guy away from me. All it does is create a bunch of stress and draw out the process of leaving the crate. Hey, triggered by your ageism. Eric, I didn't mean to say old Eric. It's my buddy Eric. He's extremely young. You look at Eric and you're like, what are you, 26, 27? He's a young guy, okay? No, old, I meant, here's what I actually meant, Eric. When I said old, I actually meant something totally different. So, no, Eric's good. Eric's a good trained. You can work my dog any day, Eric. I don't think you want to, but you could. Audio's good. That's just, if you guys want to scare the crap out of me, I probably shouldn't say it. Now everyone's going to go, hey, the microphone's not working. I'll fall for it every single time. Don't do it. There's an echo? Okay, the audio is terrible. God, why? Why? Okay, well, maybe I'll really echo it? Anyways. My grandparents have an old Jack Russell Shih Tzu mix. You're screwed. Already. You're totally screwed. And I'm allowed to say that because I have a Jack Russell. Shih Tzu, I can only imagine. You're screwed. I'm just kidding. A little bit. I've been doing basic obedience with some tug work with him. He enjoys it, but gets tired quick. No, that's awesome. And I'm joking with the Jack. I have a Jack. He's 100 years old and he's a terror. No, a Jack Russell, they can do some bite work. My Jack Russell bit the suit. They can do some bite work. A little bit of tug goes a long way with a dog like that. He gets tired quick. Good. Good. He's got to work his ass. A very exhausted Jack Russell is a nice Jack Russell to live with. So I like that. Look at little Clark. It don't matter the breed. You can still do some stuff with him. When my dog is out for a walk and off leash, he growls when he sniffs some dog's weed. Would you do anything about this behavior? Yowza. I mean, that worries me a little bit. Yeah, I don't know what I could do about it. What, tell him to knock it off? I don't know. I don't know if there's anything you can do about that. It's kind of a dog on dog thing. I mean, I'm sure you could try to, that's kind of sketchy. Maybe it's just one of those weird quirks a dog has. Maybe. I don't know what the hell that's about. I don't know. I'd have to know that dog pretty well to really weigh in on that. Not my favorite thing, though. When he's out for a walk and off leash, he growls when he sniffs other dogs' weed. Does he have to meet other dogs when he's out off leash? I don't know. If I saw my dog growling when he's sniffing another dog, I'd probably go, I don't know if meeting new dogs is for you. I don't know if that's for you. We know likey the growly. I don't know. I don't know. You go, hey, knock it off. I don't know. Friend adopted a 2-year-old German Shepherd who will spin in her crate when excited. Oh, you're screwed. I'm joking, guys. Dog will use a noise or other dogs leaving the room as an excuse to spin. It's a habit. Will earn more freedom with time and training. That is a habit that is so annoying. Every dog trainer's had one. The spinner in the crate. My buddy who's here this weekend from out of town training French ring with me, his older dog who's retired, he spins in the crate so bad that he just has raw spots on his butt and on it. It is a total nightmare. The dog's like 10. It'll never ever stop. Usually comes from over confinement throughout the dog's youth or in their past. See it with a lot of kennel dogs. They're jacked up, they're locked up, they know they're not getting out. What can you do? You can bark or spin. You want to vent frustration? Do you need to vent frustration? Spin or bark. So every kennel dog you see spinning, barking in a crate, with that dog 2 years old, I'd be tempted to put it in a, I'd want to put it in a like a 5x5 with a Coranda bed in there, indestructible. And if they don't have messes in there, a larger space may help to discourage that because then they can actually move around a little bit. But if they're in a room with other dogs where they're being let out, that thing gonna spin. I'd have to isolate that dog as well. I put it in a larger confinement, isolated from distractions and other dogs, just to try to calm that thing the heck down and try to reprogram like, hey, when I'm anxious and stressed, I don't have to spin. I can just pace around a little bit. I mean, that's better. But yeah, that's a terrible habit. There's nothing really training wise you can do about that except, try to make the dog feel less restricted. I just got a 2-year-old puppy. I just got a 2-year-old puppy back. She brought him back because of aggression. He's afraid of his own shadow. Love you showed up with that topic. Got a 2-year-old puppy back. So maybe you bred the puppy? Brought him back because of aggression. Are you a breeder? Let's assume you're a breeder. Maybe you're not a breeder, but let's pretend you are. Guys, being a breeder is so tough. To be a good, legitimate breeder that's always producing the best representation of whatever breed you produce, that's got to be the hardest dog. The hardest dog. Got that? Dyslexia? The hardest job in dogs. It's got to be. It's a nightmare. 2 years old, it took you 2 years to realize the dog was aggressive? Probably saw that immediately. Yeah, look, there's always a genetic component to dogs and their behavior. I've beaten that into the ground on this channel, but the environment the dog is brought into, their daily schedule, all the interactions and experiences they have every day, it's more important than good genetics. It really is, because you could have crappy genetics and do everything beautifully and have a pretty good dog at the end of it. So I would imagine with that dog, sure, maybe there's some genetic component to that, but at 2 years old, a lot has gone wrong with the dog in 2 years. And if it's a Malinois, then really easy to mess those up. I've seen a protection trainer on YouTube and one of his dogs spins when the decoy approaches. He's been thinking about what caused it as well. Bad training. That's what caused it. Hectic training. That's what caused it. A protection dog spinning is like the worst thing a protection dog can do. You're like, hey, pretend like you're going to go jack that guy, and they start spinning. Are you a ballerina? You're spinning? Here's what it is. It's a dog that's probably been a kennel dog and has gotten that kennel spin behavior, and then you bring the dog out, you post it out with back pressure, you agitate the crap out of it, and what does the dog do? When the dog gets really jacked up, they spin. Now, put that dog on a table. That'll fix the spinning real quick. Put that thing on a table. I'd grab that thing. I'd have an agitation collar, and I'd grab that thing at 10 and 2. And I would put that dog in between my legs. And I'd hold the dog like that. Any agitation work, any barking, alerting work, I'm holding their ass. Right here. You ain't spinning. You do not spin. I will make it physically impossible for you to spin. And I would do that a bunch. This dog, the dog you're talking about there, they need a lot of work, doing a lot of agitation, barking, and never being able to spin. It's physically impossible for that dog to spin. I hate that though. It's just hectic. Ooh, hey. Remember what I talked about at the beginning of this live? Back pressure. It should channel focus, determination, commitment. If you're spinning, you are taking your focus off of the thing I want you to focus on. You're not committed to being here. You're like, there he is, boom, there he is, boom. So there's no commitment there. There's no dedication. There's no focus. It's just hectic. I don't know what trainer that is, but if you're telling me it's a protection dog on YouTube, statistically speaking, probably doesn't have a huge chance to be great. Don't even get me started on protection dogs. Don't get me started. I mean, you could get me started if you want. I know what I'm getting Andy for Christmas. What is it, a microphone? Okay, so with the puppy, the 2-year-old that came back, 1 litter out of my 2 working dogs, first litter in 5 years. It's fear, aggression. Think the dog had too much freedom. Dobermans, okay. It's a Doberman. Yeah, yeah. So if, I mean, in my opinion, if there is an element of fear aggression that just comes in your dog's genetics, it's not going to be a, how do I say it? Not like a total deal breaker, like, oh my God, but the way you kind of shepherd that puppy through their first 6 months of living in the real world with you is like so important. It's like picture one of those scenes from like James Bond or something, whatever movie, where like, they're breaking into a bank and like there's the safe. They're on one side of the room and there's like a million laser beams going all through the room, and then they go through all the laser beam. I mean, taking that fear aggressive puppy through the first 6 months, it's almost like that. I mean, you gotta watch your P's and Q's. Every step you make kind of has to be perfect. Whereas a dog that doesn't have fear aggression in their genetics, you have so much more room for error. There's like 2 laser beams you just have to simply step over and get to the vault. Way more user friendly. But a dog that does have that little aggression, that little fearful tendency, you got to have some experience to successfully build that dog's foundation. It's harder, it takes more work, and it's not as user friendly, just my opinion. I saw your interview with Nate, helped so much. Thank you. Last time I asked you about her barking when we get visitors, I found out my dog lacks neutralization and mostly interaction. Did some neutralization training with her. She's doing better. Good. Let's see what we got here. Come on. So yeah, what this question is referring to is when on Nate Schomer's podcast, I've been talking about that the last few lives. Did a fun had a fun conversation with him. I talked about socialization quite a bit, and why neutralization is the most important part of that. So I just posted a video on my Patreon. Sorry, not on YouTube. Kind of a bonus one on Patreon with my new puppy. His first session ever around another dog. Spoiler alert, it was sweet. But that session I did with him, just luring, food work, a couple little tricks here and there, had another dog on a bed right next to him. Session went perfect. Of course, he was interested in the dog. Of course, he went over to the dog, but overall, really, really good. That's what's missing from 99% of puppies that are raised. If you're a dog training enthusiast, maybe you watch my channel, maybe you're on my Patreon, maybe you're in the 1%. But for the most part, everybody that gets a puppy does not have the ability to make that puppy neutral to something interesting. It's never built into their foundation. My puppy is about 13 weeks old. If I have a neutral dog, which I do, an older neutral dog, I put him right there. I just work my puppy around the dog. And at first, my puppy goes, "Holy crap, there's a dog there." And they run over to the dog and they go, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." Okay, a few seconds later, here comes your treat. Come over here. Feed, 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 feed. Good. feed, feed. The dog, yep, the dog is still there, buddy. Come back, dude. Within a couple minutes, my puppy could care less about that dog. He's locked in on me. He's working for his food. He's doing all the same little games and exercises that we normally do. I am installing in his hard drive, in the time that it counts, be neutral around another dog. There's another dog right there. You're paying no attention to him. You're locked in on me. You're working for me. You're working with me. If that was put into every puppy's foundation, every dog trainer across America would thank you when you send the dog in for a board and train. Neutralizing your puppy is, for me, the most important part about socialization. Genetics largely can take care of interaction, familiarization. They usually won't take care of neutralization. So Mary says he's doing better, but today we had someone over and my dog was alert and barked nervously at the visitor. Yeah, so here's what happened. Dog got tested, dog failed. Andy, did we really need you to tell us that? So Mary says her dog does not have neutralization, obviously reactive. I did some neutralization training with her. She's doing better with my grandpa, but today someone came over and she barked. She wasn't ready to be in that situation. And the dog actually told you, I'm not ready to be in that situation. So whether you meant to or not, you gave your dog a test. Your dog wasn't ready for it. Your dog tried, your dog failed the test. So what that tells me is, let's not give him that test again, him or her. Let's not give him the test again. This is something that's going to take some time. Environment is everything. How are you setting the dog up for that? If your dog's just off leash in the living room chilling, and then someone just comes to the door and you go, whoa, someone's at the door, and then your dog goes off, dog can never be successful in that environment. What I would have done is I say, hey, there's a visitor coming over at 1 o'clock. Okay, 12:30. My dog goes in the crate, which is far and away from the door where the action happens. I welcome my guest in. We settle in for a few minutes. We talk, and I tell him, hey, I'm going to bring my dog out. My dog is in training. My dog's nervous around strangers. I want you to just pretend like my dog isn't in the room and carry on with me pretending my dog's invisible. So then I'd go to the dog's crate, I'd open the crate, I'd get my leash and collar on, maybe hit a sit, hit a couple reward markers, do a spin, get the dog keyed in, bring the dog out into the room. And then I'm going to go from there. But just that setup, changing the setup, changing the situation the dog is in and how they're in it, that approach is going to yield you way more success than maybe what happened. Podcast with Nate was very informative. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Need more podcasts from you. Thank you. Let's see if I can. Come on now. Come on now. Is there too an issue with too much neutrality? 5-year-old Malinois, we were off leash on a walk at the park and encountered a coyote 20 feet away. He didn't care at all. Is too much neutrality a bad thing? I mean, I like a dog to have like life-saving tendencies. Like you ever have a puppy? This hasn't happened with my puppy because I don't want to freak him out. But you ever had a puppy who you get a new puppy and then maybe like an older dog, you have like a big dog, or an older dog, big dog, and they meet the puppy and it like scares the crap out of the puppy at first, and the puppy kind of like wants to hightail it and like run underneath something and be like, oh my God. A few minutes later, they're probably fine, but you ever see that oh my God moment? Maybe you're walking your puppy, a big truck drives down the street and it freaks them out and they run. They go, oh my God. Now people will go, oh my God, the dog's a huge wimp. Yeah, but that's like built into the dog's DNA. Like if you see a bear, run. Like if you see something huge coming towards you, you don't know what it is, it could kill you. You're an animal. You have to worry about that. Um, Truck goes down the street, they bail. They're like, why would I be walking 2 feet away from that thing? So it's a little bit of a survival instinct. I want them to have some survival instincts, right? I don't want them to just be like, hey, who are you? Wham. I don't know if that's a neutrality issue, maybe more of a genetic thing. He doesn't care at all outside our yard. Whatever happens, happens. Well, I think that's just a little bit of the dog that you got. I think even if you did less neutralization training, I think you'd still kind of have that. So not a bad thing, but you're going to have to manage your dog a little bit more. Your dog isn't like Coyote. Maybe I should get out of here. You're going to have to make that choice for him. You have to go, hey, get out of there. Don't do that. Yeah, you're too stupid to know what's safe and not. Hey, get over here. That's what I would do. My 4-year-old Cane Corso is Cane. Is neutral with most dogs, but reactive to large dogs and defensive from the car. That sounds like a Corso to me. That's dead on a Corso. Would you address this through obedience, structure, or through controlled exposure and neutrality training? Both. Absolutely both. Talking about the genetics though, like you have a Corso. Corsos are going to do Corso stuff. Lighten up in the car when they see somebody, Corso 101. I'm not saying you can't change that, but that does come with the dog a lot of the times. Same thing about the larger dog thing. Just overall being kind of defensive, being a little bit weary, using aggression to cope with those feelings. That's a Corso all day. Um, Personally, I always ride with my dogs in the car in a crate. I always do that. There's a number of reasons. If you have a dog who's your little buddy and they ride shotgun and they go with you everywhere and they chill in the car, that's fun too. You know, maybe throw a seatbelt on them if you're driving crazy, but that's cool. I have no problem with it. But a dog that's going to be a little bit of a menace in the car, your ass going in the crate with me, Jack. Some people may want that. They may go, hey, protection dog, go to the gas station. No one coming towards me. So it just depends what you want. You want your dog to zip it. He's got to be able to zip it in the crate first. If he can't be cool in the crate, he ain't going to be cool out of the crate. Generally speaking. Yeah, but a Corso is like, if you have a different breed, say you get like a Malinois. Okay, this Malinois, okay, typically I'm gonna have to do about 20% exposure with them. Get them exposed. They're pretty good. 20%. Corso like 80%. You gotta do a lot more work with the Corso. Exposure, the right kind of exposure, gradually building them up, the situations they're in, what they see, what they experience with the training, obedience training. Yeah, you got to have a bunch of tools going into that situation. You got to go, my dog's going to be wanting to feel a certain kind of way when this happens because that's what his genetics tell him to do. I need this tool, that tool, and the other tool to get him to feel this kind of way when he's in that situation. Corso's a dog where if you actually want a well-behaved trained dog, you can't get away with doing a little bit of training with those dogs. dogs. They need a lot of training. And I mean to take them to a level that I would say, oh, wow, that's great training. They're a different animal. I think I said that in my last line. Of course, it's just a different animal. Yep, but you nailed it. Controlling the environment, controlling what the dog sees, constantly taking information from the dog. Okay, his ass lit up in the car like a Christmas tree when this guy walked by it. Okay, good information. Okay, how can I begin to tackle this? Because I don't want that. How do I begin to tackle that? That starts outside of the car. That starts outside of that situation. That starts with basic impulse control stuff. That progresses to more difficult distractions in those sessions. I mean, you really gotta, if you train a Corso, they force you to really learn how to read them. I don't know if that helps at all. How do you start training with a dog that is hyper and excited? What would you start with? How do I start training with a dog that's hyper and excited? That's general. Age, breed, how long you've owned the dog. Believe it or not, when I start training a dog, I want hyper and excited. If I can get hyper and excited on day one, money, money. Board and train comes in. I say, first training session, let's go. And they're super hyper and excited. Money. Oh, yeah, I love that. Because I can take hyper, obnoxious, annoying, and I can take all that and I can channel it into focus, commitment, self control. I can easily channel that. But if I have a dog who could care less, is lazy, is disengaged, is avoidant, is shut down, is fearful, oh my God, you know how hard it's going to be to channel that into what I want? Oh, I'm going to need twice the time with that. So you're actually starting off pretty good. You need to follow my free course on YouTube, Training My New Puppy, day 1, day 2. I'm up to day 8. Day 8's about to go up on Monday. This is Saturday, depending when you're watching it. You need to go through that course and do everything you see in that course. That's the exact reason why I'm making it. I'm not making the Clark series to try to go viral and be a YouTube star. I'm making it because I've had what seems like millions of clients over the years, hundreds at least, of, hey, I got a new puppy, where should I start? What should I do before the board and train? I just got a new puppy, how do I start training? Hey, my dog's really hyper and excited, where do you start training them? The puppy course. Do what I do with Clark. Day 1, hand feeding. Day 2, the lure. Day 3, clicker. Day 4, distraction. Day 5, what the hell is day 5? His name and get it. Environmentals. Say that they're there. They're good. That's exactly what I do. I lay it all out right there. So now you have a nice guide where to start. The more excited, the better. What's the best way to get people to crate train? Most people do not know how important it is. How do you get through to people? Great question. There's a lot of good questions today, guys. You're bringing them today. I think a lot of dog trainers or dog people, breeders, yeah, they struggle with this, trying to get it through to people. I'll be honest, at this stage in my career, when people come to me with dogs, they already know about the crate. They already watch. They already know all that. But yeah, for a brand new person, here's what I say. I say that, I mean, crate training is everything in your foundation. That's everything. And it is priority number 1 for me and any trainer. Crate training is priority number 1. If the dog's not crate trained, We have not graduated preschool. Nothing can happen until my dog is getting crate trained. One of the reasons, it is the most basic form of discipline a puppy can learn. Discipline meaning I do something I don't want to do. With an 8-week-old puppy, we can't train them to stay. We can't train them to have discipline in our training areas. We can train discipline in the crate, because what happens with a new puppy? You bring the new puppy home, you put the new puppy in a crate, and the puppy goes absolutely ballistic, etc., etc., etc. If you know how to crate train, that stops in a day. That literally stops in a day or two. Why? Because puppy goes, get me the hell out of here. I'm going to go crazy. Get me out, and it never works. It's negative punishment. It never works. And after a little while, the puppy goes, what am I doing all that for? And then they relax, and then they go, this isn't so bad after all. So they just learn discipline. I don't want to do something. And then you said, got it. I'm going to make you do it. And you make them do it. And then the puppy goes, okay, I can accept this. You just made him do something that he didn't want to do. You just taught the most basic form of discipline to the puppy. So that's usually my go-to, getting through to people to crate train, but a breeder is going to have a little different job than a trainer, because if I'm going to board and train a dog, all I have to say is, I can't accept the dog unless they're crate trained. I crate all the dogs here, and if your dog isn't comfortable being in a crate to some degree, they're going to hate their life when they come here. Your dog's going to hate me. They're going to have a miserable time here. I want a dog that goes, oh yeah, crate, normal. Now we can roll, but I'm not going to accept a dog into the board and train that isn't crate trained. One, because it's going to make my life hell. Okay, I'll be honest. But two, the dog's life's going to be hell too. They don't even have the most basic form of discipline. How are they going to learn to heel off leash? So it's pretty easy in that respect. And I have had clients, one or two, but they go, I want to send the dog in to train. Goes the dog crate trained? They go, no, we don't crate train. I go, the dog has to be crate trained to come in here. And they go, oh, okay, we're probably going to pass that. I go, that's no problem. You got to do it. Here's another great convincing factor for a breeder or anyone else. Crate training is crucial to potty training. They are like this. They are best friends. Crate training and potty training are best friends. Now you're going to get the people out there that go, I've owned dogs for 70 million years. I've never crate trained one of them. They've all been potty trained beautifully. Okay. Okay. Let's put that to the side for a minute. Crate training and potty training are here. Your dog, if you have the slightest interest in training and having a well-behaved dog, to do that without a crate is like, let's build a house, but we're not going to use screws or nails. Why not? We just don't want to. But they're here, they make it better and easier and better. That dog isn't going to be able to have the right lifestyle without being crate trained. Their lifestyle is going to be all out of whack. No way. No way. You know what else it does? We're going off the rails here. Makes the dog a wimp. If anyone's watching and their dog isn't crate trained, I'm not saying 100% of the time. By the way, my family growing up, we ain't never crate trained a dog, okay? I'm not standing here like, well, you guys really gotta. But if the dog isn't crate trained, I think it kind of turns him into a spoiled brat wimp. You can't even be put in a crate. You're a dog. You can't be, what about a gigantic crate with a bed and toys? Can you do that? No, not even that. Gotcha. What a spoiled brat wimp. You're gonna cry and piss and moan and go ballistic and stress everyone in the house out when we put you in an extremely large, bedded, toy-filled, bone-filled crate? Dude, you're a wimp. You're a huge wimp. Shut up and lay down. Crazy how that works, isn't it? You actually have to do stuff you don't want to do around here. You can't just do whatever all the time. Isn't that crazy, dog? It's so crazy. The dog's gonna run your life without a crate. How about that? How about you tell people your dog's gonna run your life without a crate? My new puppy here, you know how much of a time investment puppies are? All you guys probably do. You've probably all had puppies. Is it the hardest thing in the world to raise a puppy? No. Probably harder to raise a kid. There's harder things, but it's very time consuming. With crate training, it's time consuming. Without crate training, do you want a 24/7 full-time job? Oh, that's going to make your life. I wouldn't even consider that. No way. Hope that helps. Oh, that one was from Stefan. What's up, Stefan? I didn't even notice that with the coyote. Really? Hades doesn't care about, or no, yeah. Hades don't care about a coyote? Come on, man. Hades, what the hell, dude? Show something. He's a weirdo, Stefan. What can I say? He's just a straight weirdo. People are harder to train than the dogs. I don't think anyone can argue with you about that one. What's up, Andy? Patreon crew. What's up, Jesse? How you doing? Clark videos are my new favorite. Thank you. What is a dog breed you'd recommend to someone getting their first dog? That's an interesting one. Golden Retriever. Golden Retriever, Labrador Retriever. They're the perfect first dog. Here's why. And I'm just assuming this is for something. They're like, we're open to get any dog. We're brand new. Just tell us. Golden Retriever or Lab. Done. You could name a million other breeds. Totally understand that. Those are the two that come to my head first. Here's why. First, don't be a baby about the hair. But they shed. Stop it. It's a dog. Don't be a baby. But all my kids are highly allergic. Tell them not to be babies. Come on. Get them a gas mask. They're fine. That's why everyone gets the Doodles. Doodles is, I like a golden. I like a lab. Assuming they're well bred, but not like field bred. Just a pet dog. They're the perfect dog because they have drive. They should have confidence. They should be pretty environmentally sound. But they're not so much of a dog. You go to a German Shepherd, you go to a Malinois, you go to some other breeds, Doberman, Rottweiler. Oh, that's another gear. What? Let's go down to this gear, right? They're trainable, they have drive, food drive, even if they're fat, toy drive. They're user friendly. Referencing back a little while ago, that room that's full of laser beams, a golden or a lab, like you just have to step over a couple, then you're good. As opposed to a Corso or a Malinois where you're like, oh my God, wrong move right there. Terrible consequences. Pretty user friendly, pretty simple to train, pretty naturally motivated. It's a retriever. So like, unless you totally butcher it, like engagement, coming when called, heeling with you on leash. On paper, those dogs should lend themselves better to that for a first timer. But with that being said, every dog is different. I've seen a bunch of dogs from shelters that their genetics should just be the worst thing ever, and they're just great dogs. So, of course, it always depends on the dog, but if you had to generalize the breeds, those are the first two that come to my mind. We'll do a couple more here. Can you talk about how a guest or stranger confirms reactivity? Fluffy's worst nightmare when they walk up with eye contact, baby talking with their hands out, leaning over the top of him. Okay, let me make sure I got your question, Ashley. Talk about how a stranger confirms reactive fluffies. Okay, yeah. So Ashley's saying if you have a reactive dog and somebody comes up and is like, hi there. Oh, hi, little fluffy. How that confirms their reactivity. Yeah, it absolutely feeds into that because it's putting pressure on the dog. All that puts a lot of pressure on the dog. Trust me, I know about putting pressure on dogs. I'm a French ring decoy. There are some dogs, if they're biting right here, and I have them on a bite and they're biting, and I stare them in the eyes, it pisses them off. Straight up. Just pisses them off. Some dogs, I do the same thing. They don't freaking care where I look. Why would they care? It's adding pressure to the dog. Spatial pressure, pressure with your presence. You're approaching the dog. You're making noise. You're staring. You're reaching. You're leaning. This makes an insecure dog 50 million times more insecure. It's the equivalent to this. Say that there's a person who is extremely insecure and extremely self-conscious, and they really don't like being in big social situations. Well, you go and you put them in a big social situation. And then they're sitting there like, oh my God, I don't know. I hate the way I look. I'm not as good as you. And then someone comes up and is just staring at them. And they go, hi. And they reach out and they go, oh, look at what you're wearing. Oh my God, kill me. I'd rather be invisible here. You're feeding it. You're being the opposite of neutral. That's why I always say, hey, can I pet your dog? No, you can't pet my dog. You ain't trained how to pet my dog. You don't know my dog. You don't know if my dog is one of those kind of dogs where if you look at him, it pisses him off. Versus another dog, you look at him, they could care less. They like it. You don't know my dog. So how are you going to know what to do with my dog? Some dogs, hands coming over top of their head, it's their favorite thing in the world. Some dogs, they're going to bite you. So if you really have a reactive dog and you are working on them not being reactive, the people involved need a lot more training than the dog. As we all already know, they need a lot more training. And for all those reasons that I said, they need to be neutral. Don't look at the dog. How creeped out would you guys be if you're like sitting at your desk at work and the person next to you is like this? You look over and they're just staring at you with like a creepy smile on their face. Call the cops. Call the cops. Doesn't give you a great vibe, does it? Well, that's kind of what people do to nervous dogs. Like, I'm like, dude, you're creeping them out. You're like, hi. Oh, you look soft. I'm like, are you serious, dude? Get your own dog. What are you doing? You are freaking me out, dude. I couldn't imagine what my dog's thinking. If your ass came up to me like that, I'm calling the cops. Just kidding, we're real. We handle stuff the right way. Just kidding. No, call the cops. What a great answer for the first dog. Thank you. Well, there you have it, y'all. I'm going to watch this back and see what the audio issues are. This mic's always great. I don't know what you guys are talking about. There you have it, y'all. Live Q&A. Hit the Patreon. Take it for a test spin. You can join the Patreon for free. You can dip your toe in the water with $5 a month. If you want to do $25 a month, that's going to give you access to all my training videos, hundreds of them in every discipline with probably every kind of dog you could think of. The Patreon is meant to be a substitute for hiring a dog trainer. And we all probably know how expensive us dog trainers are to hire. So you jump on the Patreon, you do $25 a month. It's going to give you everything that you need and more. But let me give you this pitch. For some, they might find a quick fix, but not for all. Commit for 3 months. Commit for 3 months to the Patreon. Commit to watching a video every 1 to 2 days that you deem would be appropriate to do with your dog. Whether it's this command, that whatever. Commit to that, a video every day or 2, maybe 3, for 3 months. If by the end of that 3 months you go, Andy, all that was a total waste of time, I'll send you $75. It's impossible. It's impossible to happen, let alone 6 months. You go through 6 months of the Patreon, you're not happy with the progress you see with your dog, and you're actually committing to it, I'll send you $150 right there. Here you go. I don't believe that would happen. What can happen, though, since there are so many videos, you go, oh, I just want to do this and that. And you go, oh, there's too much to look through. And then you go, gotta give it a little time. You gotta give it a little bit of time. Give it a little while. I think you guys will like it. Thank you. Thanks, you all, for being here. This was a fun one. You guys are always bringing it. Thank you. Anyways, we got some training to do here. I hope you guys are training today. Until next time, new video coming out Monday. Cool, thank you. Stay tuned. Happy training, y'all. As I always say, don't screw it up. No pressure, though.